In the cold void where Earth once thrived, a small research vessel glided silently through space, its mission shrouded in secrecy and urgency. Inside, Dr. Leon Mercer peered intently at the holographic displays, his eyes reflecting the faint green glow of ancient data patterns. "Almost there," Leon muttered, adjusting the controls. Beside him, Captain Alara Vance, a seasoned pilot and former military strategist, kept her gaze fixed on the debris field ahead. "We need to be precise, Leon. The relic signal was weak. I don't want to lose it now." Leon nodded, his focus unyielding. "I've waited years for this, Alara. We won't miss it." The ship's engineer, Jasper, chimed in from the back, his voice laced with excitement. "Energy readings are spiking. Whatever that relic is, it's powered up for the first time in centuries." As the vessel neared the coordinates, a small metallic object floating amidst the rubble came into view. Leon's heart raced as he initiated the retrieval arm. The cabin was silent, save for the hum of the ship and the distant echoes of cosmic wind. With a gentle thud, the relic was secured. "Got it," Leon exclaimed. "Let's see what secrets you hold." Back aboard their main ship, the team gathered in the lab, their faces illuminated by the relic's pulsating light. Leon activated the device, and a series of holographic images splayed across the room, depicting scenes of chaos and destruction, Earth's final hours. Alara watched, her expression hardening. "So, it was the Galactic Council. After all these years, we finally have proof." Jasper frowned, his hands clenched. "They wiped us out because they feared what we might become. We need to show them that humanity isn't to be underestimated." Leon's eyes met Alara's. "We can take this to the colonies, to every human settlement. They need to know the truth." "And then?" Alara asked, her tone sharp. "And then we fight back. We build our own council, our own fleet. We take the fight to their doorstep," Leon replied, his voice firm. Jasper nodded in agreement, but his eyes were wary. "It's not just about fighting, though. It's about surviving long enough to fight another day." "We'll need more than just us," Alara added. "We'll need allies, both human and alien. Some of those civilizations out there might be just as disgruntled with the Council as we are." Leon took a deep breath, the weight of their task settling on his shoulders. "Then we start recruiting. We spread the word and gather our forces. This is our chance to strike back, to reclaim what was lost." The three exchanged determined looks, knowing the road ahead would be fraught with danger and uncertainties. But the fire of purpose was lit among them, and with the ancient relic as their guide, they were ready to forge a new path for humanity. "Let's get to work," Leon said, his voice steady. "We have a galaxy to win over." The news of Earth's destruction and the involvement of the Galactic Council spread like wildfire among the human colonies. Leon, Alara, and Jasper made their way to Mars, the closest and most populous human settlement, to share the revelation and rally support. As they disembarked in the bustling spaceport of New Ares, they were met by an old friend, Dr. Maya Jensen, a brilliant engineer known for her work in advanced propulsion systems. Her face lit up with a mix of excitement and concern as she approached them. "Leon, I heard the news. Is it true?" Maya asked, her voice tense with anticipation. "Every word," Leon confirmed, handing her a data pad with the relic's images. "The Council feared our potential, Maya. They decided to eliminate the threat we posed." Maya's eyes widened as she scrolled through the data. "This changes everything," she muttered. "We've been living under a lie. What's the plan?" "We're building a fleet," Alara chimed in. "And we're here to ask for your help. We need the best technologies, and no one is better at engineering them than you." Maya nodded resolutely. "I'm in. We'll need more than just ships, though. We need a weapon that can guarantee us an edge." Jasper grinned. "I knew you'd say that. I've been working on something back on the ship. Experimental, but it might just be the breakthrough we need." The group moved to Maya's workshop, a sprawling complex filled with prototypes and machinery. They spent hours discussing and debating the specifications of the new fleet, each bringing their own expertise to the table. As they worked, Leon took a moment to address everyone in the workshop. "This isn't just about revenge," he said, his voice echoing slightly in the busy hangar. "It's about making sure no one ever fears us enough to do what the Council did. We're going to show them that humanity stands for resilience and innovation." Maya introduced them to her team, a diverse group of engineers and scientists from various colonies. Among them was a young tactician, Nico, whose unconventional warfare strategies had earned him some renown. "We've got a lot of work ahead of us," Nico said, looking around at the assembled team. But with the right plan and enough firepower, we can take the council by surprise. The team worked into the night, fueled by a shared vision of justice and freedom. Schematics of ships and weapons filled the screens, each design more ambitious than the last. Leon stood back, watching the flurry of activity. He felt a profound sense of purpose, bolstered by the commitment of those around him. They were not just building a fleet. They were forging a new future for humanity, a future where they no longer hid in the shadows of their past. As they finalized the plans for their first prototype vessel, Leon knew that this was just the beginning. There would be challenges and setbacks, but with a united humanity, they had a real chance at reclaiming their place in the galaxy. The heart of the human resistance's plan hinged on acquiring hyperlight engines, capable of powering their fleet with unprecedented speed and efficiency. These engines, however, were securely held within the fortified shipyards of Zeta Reticuli, a system under strict council control. Leon, Maya, and Nico gathered around a holotable, analyzing the security schematics of the shipyard. Jasper joined them, bringing his insight into electronic warfare to the mix. Standard infiltration won't work here, Nico pointed out, highlighting the layers of security. We need a diversion, something big. Maya nodded in agreement. I've been working on a series of EMP drones. They won't cause permanent damage, but they could disable their systems long enough for us to slip in. Leon considered their options, then turned to Alara. What's the status of our insider? Alara, who had been coordinating with potential allies within the alien workforce at the shipyards, replied, We have a contact. Goes by the name of Silas. He's disillusioned with the council and sympathetic to our cause. He can help us from the inside. With the plan taking shape, the team set their course for Zeta Reticuli. Disguised as a merchant vessel, they approached the shipyard under the pretense of routine business. As they docked, Leon felt the tension rise. Every moment was critical. Once in position, Maya deployed the EMP drones. The shipyard's lights flickered and dimmed as alarms began to sound. Now! Leon shouted, and the team, dressed in stealth gear, disembarked swiftly. Guided by Silas, they navigated through the labyrinthine corridors of the facility. The hyperlight engines are stored in the high-security wing. This way, Silas whispered, leading them through less monitored service tunnels. As they reached the storage area, Jasper quickly interfaced with the security panel. Give me a few seconds, he murmured, his fingers flying over the holographic keys. Meanwhile, Nico kept watch, his hand on his weapon, ready for any sign of trouble. The silence was palpable, broken only by Jasper's occasional muttering. Got it, Jasper finally exclaimed as the doors slid open silently. Inside, rows of hyperlight engines glowed with a soft blue light. They were beautiful, almost otherworldly, but Leon knew they were also the key to their mission's success. The team moved quickly, using anti-grav sleds to transport several engines back to their ship. Silas, glancing nervously at his communicator, urged, Hurry, reinforcements will be here soon. As they loaded the last engine, Maya looked at Silas. Come with us, she urged. Silas shook his head, a rueful smile on his face. I need to stay and cover our tracks, but I believe in what you're doing. With a heavy heart, the team left Silas behind, racing back to their ship as security forces began to swarm the area. They barely made it out, the ship lurching into hyperlight speed, just as a barrage of fire erupted behind them. Back on board, Leon and the team caught their breath, the adrenaline slowly ebbing away. They had done it. They had the hyperlight engines. We've just declared war on the Galactic Council, Alara said, her voice steady. Leon nodded solemnly. Then let's make sure it's a war we win. With the stolen hyperlight engines secured, the human resistance's next challenge was to unite the scattered human factions and the potential alien allies into a cohesive fighting force. The atmosphere was thick with tension as Leon and his team prepared to host representatives from various colonies and alien civilizations in a secret location on the outskirts of the Tau Ceti system. As delegates arrived under the guise of a trade summit, Leon and Maya briefed their core team. We need to be convincing, show them the power of what we've acquired and the justness of our cause, Leon emphasized. Inside the makeshift conference room, Alara initiated the meeting, standing confidently at the front. Thank you all for coming. We're here not just to discuss trade, but something of far greater importance, she announced, catching the room's attention. Leon stepped forward, presenting the evidence of the Galactic Council's betrayal and their destructive plans for any potential threats. The room buzzed with murmurs and gasps as the images of Earth's last moments were displayed. Jasper distributed technical data packets, showing the hyperlight engines and outlining their capabilities. With these, we can move faster, hit harder, and evade quicker than any Council fleet, he explained enthusiastically. Amidst the crowd, a towering Vraxian named Keth spoke up, his voice resonant and deep. My people have suffered under Council sanctions for decades. Your enemy is ours as well, he declared, his words sparking nods of agreement from other alien representatives. Maya took the stage to discuss the technical alliances. We propose a technology exchange. Help us improve these engines and weapons, and in return, we offer open patents and shared advancements to all who join us, she offered, laying out blueprints and schematics. Nico presented strategic battle plans, highlighting potential weak points in Council defenses and proposing coordinated strikes. We can't outgun them in a straight fight, but with precise guerrilla tactics, we have a chance to disrupt and dismantle their infrastructure, he explained. The debates that followed were intense. Concerns about retaliation and the vast resources of the Council dominated the discussion. However, Leon's diplomatic tact and Alara's strategic insights slowly turned doubts into a cautious agreement. By the end of the summit, a tentative alliance was formed, with each leader signing a pact of secrecy and cooperation. We stand together, not just for revenge, but for a future where no one lives in the shadow of annihilation, Leon concluded. His words met with a robust round of applause. As the delegates departed, Leon and his team felt a mix of triumph and the heavy weight of responsibility. They had united a diverse group of civilizations, each with their own grievances and hopes, into a singular force with a common goal. Back on their ship, the team gathered to review their newly formed alliances and the commitments made. We've started something big today, Alara noted, looking at the star map dotted with ally locations. Yes, we did, Leon agreed, his gaze firm and hopeful. Now we prepare for the real fight. It's time to turn these plans into action. With a renewed sense of purpose, they set about organizing the first of many strategic operations, aware that the path ahead would be fraught with challenges, but also that they were no longer facing them alone. The galaxy was watching, and for the first time in centuries, humanity was leading the charge. With the alliance solidified and the hyperlight engines installed, Leon's fleet was now prepared for its first major offensive, a surprise assault on Orion's belt, a key strategic outpost for the Galactic Council. The plan was to disrupt the Council's operations and demonstrate the newly formed alliance's strength and coordination. In the strategy room aboard the flagship, Leon and Nico reviewed the final details of their plan. The holographic display showed the cluster of systems known as Orion's belt twinkling ominously. This is where they monitor most of the hyperspace traffic in this sector, Nico explained, pointing to a massive space station at the center of the display. Taking it out will cripple their surveillance capabilities and give us much-needed breathing room, Maya interjected, tweaking the display to show their fleet's approach trajectory. We've equipped all ships with the hyperlight engines. We hit fast and hard, then pull back before they can mount a significant counterattack. Alara, dressed in her combat suit, nodded in agreement. Speed is our ally. The longer we linger, the riskier it gets. As the fleet jumped into hyperspace, the mood was tense. Each ship's crew knew the stakes were high, not just for the battle, but for the momentum of their entire movement. Emerging from hyperlight near Orion's belt, the fleet's arrival caught the Council's forces off guard. Leon's flagship led the charge, its cannons blazing as they targeted the space station's defense systems. Direct hit on the eastern dock, Jasper shouted over the comm, monitoring the damage assessments. Leon watched the battle unfold, his voice calm and authoritative as he issued commands. Group 5, focus fire on their shield generators. Maya, how are the engine readings? All systems optimal, Leon. We're as fast as lightning out here, Maya reported back, her eyes glued to the sensor panels. In the thick of battle, an unexpected squadron of Council fighters ambushed from behind a nearby asteroid. Alara quickly maneuvered their ship to counter the attack. We've got company, deploying countermeasures. The ship shook violently as they exchanged fire. Leon gripped his console, his focus unyielding. Nico, take your squadron and flank them. We can't let them pin us down. As Nico's fighters peeled off to engage, the main objective remained in sight: the destruction of the space station's control hub. The combined firepower of the fleet bore down upon the station, which began to show signs of catastrophic failure. Station integrity at 20% and dropping, Jasper updated, a hint of exhilaration in his voice. The final barrage of missiles was launched, and as they struck, a brilliant explosion ripped through the station, sending shockwaves through the surrounding space. Cheers erupted across the fleet, but Leon remained focused. All ships, prepare for retreat. Execute hyperjump in 3, 2, 1. With that, the fleet vanished into hyperspace, leaving behind the devastation they had wrought. The Battle of Orion's Belt was a resounding success, a testament to the Alliance's capabilities and resolve. Back on the flagship, the crew celebrated, but Leon pulled Maya and Alara aside. We won today, but this is just the beginning. The Council will retaliate, and we must be ready. Alara nodded, her expression serious. We'll be ready, Leon. Today we showed them what we're capable of. As they looked out at the stars, the path forward was clear. Keep pushing, keep fighting, and never underestimate the power of a united front. The galaxy had just witnessed the birth of a formidable force, and there was no turning back. Following their victory at Orion's Belt, Leon's coalition carried their momentum forward, targeting key Galactic Council installations across multiple systems. The fleet, now battle-hardened and bolstered by new recruits from liberated planets, prepared for their most ambitious operation yet, a direct assault on the Council's capital, located in the heavily fortified Sirius system. Leon convened a meeting with his top commanders and advisors, including Maya, Ilara, Nico, and several alien leaders who had joined their cause. The room was charged with a mixture of tension and determination as they discussed the final plan. The Council's capital is their stronghold, but also their most vulnerable target. Leon began, his voice steady. If we take it, we fracture their leadership and send a message across the galaxy. Maya updated the group on their technical readiness. Our ships are equipped with the latest upgrades. The hyperlight engines have been fine-tuned for quick strikes. We're as ready as we'll ever be. Ilara added, Our intelligence suggests the Council is rattled, but not expecting an all-out assault. We strike fast, focusing on disabling their communications first. Without it, their response will be chaotic at best. Nico laid out the tactical approach. We'll use a multi-pronged attack strategy. While the main fleet engages their star defenses, a special ops team will infiltrate the capital to sabotage their command network. The day of the assault arrived swiftly. As their fleet approached the Sirius system, the gravity of their undertaking weighed heavily on everyone's shoulders. The space around the capital was bristling with defense platforms and patrolling warships. Leon, aboard the flagship, gave the order to engage. Space erupted into a cacophony of blaster fire and exploding ships. Leon's fleet, using tactics honed in previous battles, managed to breach the outer defenses, pushing towards the heart of the capital. Meanwhile, Ilara led the special ops team, including Maya and several skilled alien fighters, onto the capital planet. They moved stealthily, avoiding patrols and disabling security systems. Reaching the central command hub, Maya quickly set to work hacking into the Council's communications array. Back in orbit, the battle intensified. Nico's squadrons executed daring maneuvers, drawing the enemy's fire away from Leon's flagship as it made a daring push towards the capital's primary space station. We have control of their communications. Maya's voice crackled over the comms just as the space station came into view. You're clear to proceed, Leon. With a final concerted effort, Leon's forces launched a devastating barrage against the space station. The structure, critically damaged, began to succumb to the relentless attack, ultimately breaking apart in a spectacular explosion that lit up the system. As the dust settled, the capital was in disarray, its defenses in ruins. The Council's leaders were captured, and their command structure crumbled. Leon and his allies had achieved a decisive victory. In the aftermath, the team gathered on the surface of the now liberated capital. The mood was somber as they surveyed the damage. This is a victory, but at a great cost, Leon reflected aloud. We did what was necessary, Ilara responded, placing a reassuring hand on his shoulder. Now we need to ensure it was worth it. We need to help rebuild and unite these worlds. Leon nodded, looking over the horizon. We've dismantled the Council. Now, let's build something better in its place. The realization of their new responsibility was clear in his eyes. They had fought for freedom. Now they would lead in peace. After their decisive victory over the Galactic Council, Leon and his allies took control of the capital. The immediate days were spent consolidating their hold and dealing with the remnants of Council forces. However, the real turning point came when they began to delve into the Council archives hidden deep beneath the city. In a large, dimly lit room filled with ancient data cores, Leon, Maya, and Jasper sifted through terabytes of encrypted files. There's decades of history here, maybe more, Jasper remarked, his fingers dancing across a holographic interface. Maya, working on a separate console, paused, her expression turning serious. Leon, you need to see this. She motioned him over to her screen, which displayed decrypted files showing covert operations against other civilizations, not just humans. These files outline operations across the galaxy, surveillance, sabotage, even orchestrated uprisings to keep various species under control, Maya explained, scrolling through document after document. Leon's brow furrowed as he read. They were afraid of anyone who could challenge their authority. We knew they were oppressive, but this is systematic control on a galactic scale. The revelations were a heavy blow, not just to their understanding of the Council's operations, but to their perception of the conflict they had been fighting. It wasn't just about human survival or vengeance. It was about justice for countless species manipulated and oppressed by the Council. With a new resolve, Leon called a meeting with the newly formed leadership, which now included representatives from various alien races. He presented the uncovered information, laying bare the extent of the Council's manipulation. We have a chance to right these wrongs, Leon declared to the gathered leaders, not just for humanity, but for all races that have suffered under the Council. Keth, the Vraxian leader, stood, his voice echoing in the chamber. For generations, my people thought we were alone in our struggles. This information changes everything. You have our full support. The meeting ended with a unanimous decision to release the information galaxy-wide. The response was immediate and powerful. Systems that had been on the fence joined Leon's cause, bolstered by the revelation that their struggles were connected. As the weeks passed, Leon found himself at the forefront of not just a military campaign, but a movement to establish a new galactic order based on transparency and equality. The ruins of the old council were dismantled, and in their place, a new federation began to take shape, guided by principles agreed upon by all member races. Maya approached Leon one evening as they overlooked the capital from a high balcony. You've started something incredible here, Leon. How does it feel? Leon looked out over the city, where lights were slowly coming back on as life returned to normal. It's overwhelming. We fought out of anger and a desire for revenge, but now we build out of hope and a desire for peace. The challenges were still immense. Systems needed rebuilding, societies needed healing, and the new federation needed a firm foundation of governance that would prevent the rise of another tyrannical power. But as Leon stood with his allies, looking towards a horizon bright with the dawn of a new era, he felt ready to meet those challenges head-on. The battle for the galaxy's freedom was over, but the task of building its future was just beginning. As the dust settled on the capital and the first sessions of the new Galactic Federation convened, Leon found himself in a role he had never envisioned, a leader in not just war, but in peace. With the oppressive reign of the Galactic Council now a dark chapter of the past, the task of forging a new future lay before him and his diverse council of allies. In the newly restored council chambers, Leon stood before representatives from hundreds of worlds, each with their own vision for what the galaxy should become. We are united not by our pasts, but by our hopes for the future, Leon declared, his voice echoing through the vast hall. Together, we will build a federation that values the voice and dignity of every species. Maya, now appointed as the Minister of Technology, worked tirelessly to ensure that the advances once hoarded by the Galactic Council were shared equitably. Technologies that had been used for surveillance and control were repurposed to aid in rebuilding worlds devastated by years of neglect and warfare. Ilara took command of the Federation's new defense forces, a role she approached with a focus on protection rather than domination. Our strength will be used to defend, not to coerce, she stated during the first military summit, setting a tone of ethical leadership that resonated throughout the ranks. Nico, meanwhile, headed the Strategic Planning Office, ensuring that the Federation's expansion and relations were handled with consideration for all members' sovereignty and rights. His innovative approaches to diplomacy and conflict resolution became a cornerstone of the new Federation's policy. As the first year of the new Federation drew to a close, Leon visited various worlds, speaking with local leaders and citizens, listening to their stories and their hopes. On a visit to a small, previously isolated planet, he met with a group of young students eager to learn about the wider galaxy. One student asked him, "What was it like to fight against such a powerful enemy?" Leon paused, reflecting on the long and painful road. It was necessary, but it taught us a valuable lesson. True strength comes from unity and understanding, not fear and oppression. Our greatest victories lie not in the battles we win, but in the peace we create. Back on the capital world, a grand celebration marked the anniversary of the Federation's founding. Fireworks lit the sky, illuminating the faces of countless species gathered in peace. Leon, standing beside Maya, Alara, and Nico, watched as children of different worlds played together. Maya leaned over, a smile playing on her lips. "Look at what we've started, Leon. A new chapter, not just for us, but for generations to come." Leon nodded, his eyes reflecting the fireworks' brilliant colors. "Yes, a new dawn indeed, but the work isn't done. We must ensure this peace lasts longer than any of us." As the celebration continued around them, the four friends shared a quiet moment of contemplation. They had transformed their need for vengeance into a catalyst for unity. Now, they were guardians of a hopeful future, stewards of a federation founded on the ideals of fairness, justice, and cooperation. The galaxy had indeed witnessed the birth of a new era, brought forth not by conquerors, but by liberators. As they looked forward to the challenges ahead, they did so with the commitment to never repeat the mistakes of the past, striving always towards a brighter, inclusive future.